All right, hello everybody. We are Strawberry Solar. I'm David. This is Tejas. This is Ashwin and Alejandro. And let's harness the power of the sun. So we started off this semester by having conversations with the Strawberry Solar team and different potential customers, and we drew a few conclusions about what people thought about energy. The first one being that there's very limited energy providers right now. Pretty much anywhere you go in Michigan, it's either DTE or Consumers Energy. You don't really have many other options. The second thing we noticed was that there's no control over your energy needs, and that if your energy provider has an outage, you can't really do anything about it, and you also have no control over where your energy comes from, whether it's a dirty or a clean source. And these conditions often result in a lot of bad things. For example, if an energy provider decides to hike up the prices, it can cause higher prices for the consumer. On top of that, it creates energy dependence, where if there's an outage and you need power, you can't really do anything about it. And finally, there's also a guilty conscience associated with it. If you're using energy that's coming from knowingly very dirty sources, people don't really feel good about that. So we decided to aim and tackle this problem by installing reliable solar technology in homes to help Michiganders meet their energy needs. So people are able to do this by going onto the Strawberry Solar website, filling out a form, and they're able to receive a quote based on their home and their area, based on how much solar installation would be. The main product that Strawberry Solar sells is, as expected, solar panels. However, there are also things associated with these solar panels that customers can get, like hooking it up to an EV charger for people's vehicles, or installing a battery to have power saved at your home rather than just going on a constant cycle. And I would say the main customer segment that we deal with is homeowners in Michigan. Now, there is a small commercial subsection that is available, but it's only about 5–10% of the business. The vast majority of installations being done right now are for residential homes in Michigan. Great, so Strawberry Solar is able to do all of this because they have a bunch of amazing capabilities, with the first one being their software that they use. They have an installation planning software that helps fit the customer's needs. They help model how the installation would look like. And on top of this, on the customer's end, they have their own software that they can look at to check how much money they're saving on a daily basis. There's also hardware available that they help utilize, things like solar panels, inverters, batteries, etc. A lot of the nuts and bolts that are necessary, and which they get help from an electrician who is contracted. And finally, this would not be possible if it weren't for their customer service. They have a fantastic installation team that helps deal with any issues that pops up, and if there's any issues in the future, they will help deal with those issues right away, no necessary costs.
All right, cool. So now we're going to get into the how they actually do this thing of their solar installation process. Cool. So how does it operate? Is what we're really doing first. So it's a 3-step model. The first is they analyze their energy use. So they go to people's homes. They see, okay, you spent X amount of dollars over the course of this amount of months. If you're to continue this way, your projected outcome would be X amount of dollars. And they say if you switched over to Strawberry Solar products, you'd be able to reduce your total energy bill while also making healthier choices for the environment. The second step is that they use a survey and prepare the site for installation. So they take a contractor out to the site, and they will work with the person, potential customer, primarily residential areas, to determine how much service, or the level that they will need, how many panels, whether they need to clear things away, to ensure that the panel installation goes smoothly. And finally, they rely on software and hardware services that my colleague here mentioned beforehand, that really monitor how much energy is being used over time. Cool. So then we go into income. You go back to the previous slide, no worries. So we have a total of $5 million in income, and that's revenue. We were not given a cost structure, so 5 million revenue is what we got. 95% of that comes directly from the residential services, and only 5% of commercial installations, and that's because they have had some contract experiences with commercial folks, but they tend to like the plans and then take it to a cheaper option. You hate to see it. And then we have merchandise, which comes in less than 1%, and that's like fun little things like their stickers, they put their merch online. It's worth checking out. We all liked it, so anyways. And then their SAM is a total of $2.86 million, or in homes in Michigan that are potential customers. And as the green energy movement continues to expand, we believe that that market will become more accessible to this organization or others like it. Next slide, please. All right, so now the actual projected outcomes. So the chart on the right determines or shows a projected outcome of the solar power market. So currently in 2020 it started at 184, and then it's going to 386. That's in billions of dollars across the world. So despite the fact the chart looks like there's a huge disparity, it's only really 2xing over the course of 10 years, but it's still a significant amount of money. And this growth comes primarily from two sources. The first is the green revolution, as folks want to contribute towards better choices for the environment. That's fueling a lot of it. And there's affiliated aspects of this, such as the electric vehicle market that's mixed in there as well. As this market is fairly new, there's no established companies within this industry. So for example, there are about 12 companies that are very comparable to Strawberry Solar that exist around the Washington area and Detroit. From just a quick Google search, they all provide very comparable services at very similar prices. So next slide, please. And that'll take us to what are the market forces at play that really grant Strawberry Solar the opportunity and the wherewithal to continue to have their foothold as they do. So we'll go over two marketing strategies that they use, just for the sake of time. Those are online presence as well as referrals. From our interview with Sager, who's on the sales team, he stated that a bulk of the sales come from a couple of different locations. The primary one being their SEO, or like the way in which they gain customers from online searches through Google and whatnot. That then converts folks to have website interactions, and then from there they move forward with working with the sales team to then convert them to actual sales. And the other bit is word of mouth and their referral program. So once they have their existing client base, some of their sales come directly from folks, telling folks about it to get some kind of bonus services, right? Cool. The other bit I'll touch on very briefly is the differentiation model. So as I mentioned, there's 12 very comparable programs or businesses rather in the area. So really their strategy is marketing themselves with differentiation. So framing their products and service as holistic and cutting edge and very much focusing on customer service. Cool.
So we also wanted to thank the amazing team of people that we were able to meet through this whole experience. So we want to especially thank Sager Weisberg, who's a sales manager at Strawberry Solar, and also William Held. And these two people really told us all we needed to know about the business and kind of introduced us to Strawberry Solar as a whole. And they taught us a lot about the overall company. And so some of our takeaways from this great experience was the importance of effective marketing, because we really learned that for a company to be successful and get to a lot of people, you need to effectively market our product and make sure that people actually know what it is. So we also were able to learn about how Strawberry Solar builds healthy customer relationships. And we do this because one of the things we really learned about and talked about was going out into the community and making sure that Strawberry Solar customers have effective maintenance, and they also have the ability to interact with the installation team and also the people involved with the company. And we also learned the importance of using technology, such as doing things like making sure our site is optimized, or the website for Strawberry Solar is optimized so that people can actually see our product, because the website is the primary way we get to our customers.
So from what we learned, there we go. From what we learned, we came up with a couple big objectives that Strawberry Solar can aim for in the next couple of years. One is increasing sales, and the other is increasing their customer base. We think with sales, they can double them maybe within the next couple of years while maintaining profitability, and with their customer base, spread more awareness in the communities they're servicing while spreading to other communities. The steps we think they can take to get to these objectives is really on the marketing side. Through our customer interviews we conducted, we saw a lot of potential customers and homeowners didn't really know about this industry and didn't know any companies in this industry. So really spreading that awareness could help get a lot of potential customers. The steps we think they could take are modifying their website, putting more information about this industry and their services directly on the homepage so that customers are attracted to it, creating social media so that they can spread their brand name to homeowners, reach out to towns and counties and see if they can partner with them, get into their newsletters, put up some signs in the neighborhoods that they service just so that other homeowners are aware of who they are. Then longer term things are produce seasonal deals so that in the winter they're able to reach out to customers who wouldn't otherwise, and also sponsoring and partnering events for green companies and just green expos in general. We think all of these combined will help achieve the objectives we laid out before. And with that, we just want to thank everyone for listening and thank Strawberry Solar for working on this.
You mentioned that they get the company gets most of their clients now using SEO and internet marketing. So what data do you have that suggests that their website needs to be optimized or improved?
So this is kind of just off of customer interviews and seeing what they said. The website right now is a little bit just about connecting to customers. It has a form on the front page that allows you to input your name and your questions. So instead of greeting the customers with that, maybe giving a bit more information and painting a nicer picture of the industry, just so that they feel like they're getting the whole picture before they're jumping into the contact details.
Good.
I don't. I insist.
I've got a lot of questions, but you focus a lot on the growth and the sales aspect, but I'm just thinking of other ways you could try to differentiate. Have you thought about things like, in the solar space, a lot of the supply chain issues are tied back to China and some of the labor used for some of the parts for solar. So if this is a cleaner way of getting solar, rather, there's like maybe a pitch to make there. There's like a product side that you could focus on. I feel like you probably went through kind of different pieces to land on the growth and sales component only. Help me understand kind of your thought process around landing there.
Yeah, so I think the main guiding factor for it was mostly the guidance we received from Strawberry Solar. They kind of seem like in their own zone where they're like, okay, we're really good at installing panels and we're really good at scaling it, so that's kind of what the focus is. So that's mostly why we were focused on sales and growth.
Okay.
But you're definitely right, there's a lot of room to differentiate in the industry because, as was said in the presentation, it's about like 12 smaller companies all doing the exact same thing, all fighting for the same market share.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
So my question is, how are you, so you mentioned some interest in increasing revenue, the vague number you received, and the quality of service and workmanship and the detail to installation. So one lever that businesses may pull when they're looking to change their financial bottom line is who am I hiring directly, and who is my contractor, or who am I outsourcing? So has there been any discussion about them scaling up and using installers who are direct hires, or are they also looking at contractors? Help me understand that.
Yeah, so I think the current situation is they utilize a team within Strawberry Solar for most of the installation process. I think it's 3 people. But also during the installation process, they sometimes need help with the electric component. So they have an electrician come out as a contractor. As far as I'm aware, that's the only other contractor involved with the process. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's the only part they're contracting out right now. I would imagine if they grow and scale, they'll probably want to bring that person in-house just to make things easier. But yeah, definitely if you scale more, you should probably put it within the company. So I think that's something to keep in mind.
Thank you.
Let me try another direction. You've spent, 8 weeks looking at this business. How many of you would see your career in residential adaptation of electrical supply? How many of you would see opportunity in this field? Truthfully.
Probably none of us. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's a niche market, even though it's growing.
So what else is a problem in this market? The most important issue.
Well, I think where it's located geographically here in Michigan.
And who controls the price, and who controls the supply, and who controls basically the energy economy we have.
Primarily DTE.
And
Consumers' energy.
To shift to that, what you're talking about requires what? It requires subsidies. You can't control the level of the subsidies. The subsidies come from
Government.
Thank you. Maybe that's the challenge, which you didn't really talk about. This is very much controlled by the nature of the regulatory market that is created or not by government.
One thing to just keep in mind along those lines is, most utilities, including especially the Michigan utilities, they're not big fans of solar. And back to the point of differentiation, is there a story they can tell where, to your point about like, yeah, the last of the 6 solutions you had was like partnering, right? Well, can they be the one solar company that knows how to partner with utilities and come up with some mutual benefit? Like there are ways to, I'm just diving one level deeper on the 6. So anyway, I'll stop there.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all. And we'll give you a couple minutes to finish those. Round of applause.